Hi everybody, welcome to my latest video. I'm going to be doing a before and after of this really adorable little meat safe. So this meat safe came from a deceased estate. It's fully solid Tassie oak in the frame and the door, but it has masonite side panels and masonite shelving um, and there's a hole in that. And what is a meat safe? A meat safe, just really quickly, they were in the late 19th century and early 20th century, and they preceded refrigerators as a place where, say, my grandparents probably used to store meat to keep it safe from flies, hence the netting. But the netting was also served as an airflow, so the meat was kept as fresh as possible, yet away from flies and maggots and so forth. This one's got a cute little drawer. Um, yeah, and not only am I going to restore it, I'm then going to restyle it and see how you like it, my little twist on it. So the flies are really loving this meat safe, like you wouldn't believe. You can't see it in the camera, but I have like 20 flies just hanging around this meat safe. It's really grossing me out. And I have actually already cleaned it with a bucket and soapy water, but it's not enough. And this isn't me rinsing it off now, and I'm using the hose because it's just so gross. I can't stand the flies. It's not normally something that I would do, especially with the masonite shelving. So I've had the piece sun facing for a while, so it's quite lovely and dry now. So I'm just taking off the front door and really appreciating these beautiful butterfly shaped door hinges. They're covered in paint, unfortunately, and we'll get that off later on. But they're lovely, and they show the age as well. You don't see hinges like that around much anymore, except on very old pieces. Lovely. So just taking the hinges off the door on the door component and any other hardware that's on there. I think there's just that little knob on the other side. So I remove that. All I'm doing here is taking off the beading around the meat safe mesh because I'm going to take the meat safe mesh off, and to do that I need to remove the beading. And I'm not going to put meat safe mesh back on this door. I am going to put meat safe mesh back on the unit though somewhere else. But for the door, I'll be doing something else. I won't reveal what that is just yet. Don't fast forward if you can help yourselves. Well, given that I've just told you that I'm not putting the meat safe mesh back on the front door, I am removing the two side panels. So one of them's damaged anyway, which is this one. So this one's got a great raking hole in it. So it needs replacing anyway. So I've got another idea. So I'll take this one off and the other one off the side. And I'm going to leave the back panel on. The back panel's not in bad condition at all. And what I'm doing here is just building so I've got the frame of the door, and I'm building a frame now to sit within the door to create a rim to sit um, in something that I want to sit in it. I'll show you in a minute. I'm trying to create a little recess. That's the word I was looking for. To create a little recess within the door frame to sit something in. Just going around and removing all the little tiny tacks, sharp little nasty tacks that were left from where the masonite was. Some of them are embedded, so I'm having to dig a couple of them out to, which is causing a tiny bit of damage that I'll have to repair later. What I'm trying to do here is replace the top shelf. So the top shelf that's under where the drawer is, which I didn't show you properly on camera, was incredibly flaky. There were bits everywhere. It was beyond repair and wasn't fit to be a shelf. So I took that one out, and now, rather than replace all of the masonite shelves, I've decided to match the top one in with the other shelves. And I didn't want to pull the unit apart, so I've tried to do it without pulling the unit apart, and I've succeeded. So even though I've removed the paint from it and I've had a good look at the condition of the top underneath the paint, I have decided to take the top off. So I'm just removing the beading surrounding the top at the moment, which I don't want to put back on, and then take the top off because I'm going to replace it. I've decided to strip the rest of it, the whole frame, using paint stripper. It's just going to be much easier. I really try to avoid using paint stripper wherever I can. I really don't like it. Um, but the unit, the whole piece is quite light, so scraping this is going to be quite hard along the, yeah, so I've decided. I've just had a slow dawning of my brain to catch up with the fact that I needed to wear a mask. Of course, the fumes in this are quite toxic. You can end up with dizzy spells and so on and so forth. I've got a very well ventilated workshop, but still, um, yeah, silly girl, silly girl. Mask on first. I should also be wearing gloves, but I am being very careful. But actually, I should be wearing gloves as well. And the only reason I'm not is because I need some new ones. I've run out. I finished stripping all the paint off it, so now I'm just going to give it a treatment with oxalic acid. For those of you that don't know, oxalic acid is a wood treatment. Actually, you can use it for other materials that helps remove iron-based, water-based stains, rust stains from timber, and also generally can even out the tone of the timber, or it has that appearance. It's just doing a bit of putty on a few of the splits, cracks. I'm not going to do it too perfectly. I'm definitely going to leave the odd, not split or crack, but little dent, or not dent, or actually a couple of dents as well. I'm just going to try and retain some of the old look because it is an old piece. This piece has had some woodworm in one of these legs. It's probably the leg that I'm working on. I did treat it. I don't believe the woodworm is still in there, but I did treat it anyway just to make sure. I did that off camera, just using some pyrethrum painted on. But I think that it was, I think they were already gone, but just in case. So the cavities that the woodworm left, I'm particularly interested in covering those up, which is what I'm mainly doing. There's my dog. We just got a new dog. Her name's Mitzi. We just got her from Hobart Dogs Home a week ago, and she's very clingy and doesn't want to be away from me, which is completely understandable. She's 6 years old. We have two dogs, and we have another dog called Molly, and Molly's best friend Teddy died in July last year, and she has not been herself since. So we finally decided to get her second dog. So she came with us to the dog home to meet dogs, and she liked this one. She gave this one a kiss, and we loved her as well. And that was it. She's come home with us, but she's still settling in, a bit restless. So I'm just adding some. So I finished doing the recess that I wanted to do for the door frame, but I'm just doing a little bit of puttying around where there's a little bit of gap between the door frame and the recess. I'm just sanding off around the frame where I applied some wood putty, and that little, even though I said the back panel was in quite good condition, it is, but there's that little bit of crack there, so I'm going to address that too shortly, rather than replace the whole panel, because the whole panel is in good condition. A little bit of putty will fix that. So I've taken the bottom of the drawer out to give it a really good clean and sand, and found a little split on the top, and I'm just giving that a bit of a glue. I'm just showing you the other one. That's little Ollie, and that's Diva. She's about 9 years old, Diva, and she's had, according to the previous owner, maybe 3 foals. She's been a mama 3 times, and Ollie is her. I guess she's kind of, Ollie is only about 5 years old now. We've had him since he was 6 months old. He was bottle fed by humans because his own mother rejected him, so he never got taught by a horse. Mama had a horse, so we got her 3 years ago. We were looking for a female horse that could sort of mother him and teach him how to be a horse, and she's completely done that. And now, even though we originally were in love with him, and we still are totally in love with both of them, it was always him, but she, for me, has overtaken him. I am so in love with her. It might be a mother-to-mother thing, I don't know, but I adore her. Here's the baby. He's the naughty boy, because at 5 years old they're still a little puppyish, and he's a naughty boy, and she's just so sweet, so beautiful, and so patient with everybody except him. With him, she's totally impatient. It's so funny to watch. And she's a miniature Shetland. The black one is a miniature Shetland, and the little brown one is just miniature pony. He's about 7 hands high. If you know hands, you know that's really small. You can see how tall he is when I stand next to him. I'm 5'10", and he's up to my mid thigh, and she's just a bit taller and a bit stockier because she's a Shetland. She's a bit stockier. Anyway, they're my ponies, and there's four. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paddocks for them to go into, but every now and again I put them out the front with me, and I shut the front entrance gate, which is behind the carport, and then they can roam around here and eat the fresh grass, which sometimes saves me mowing, but I have extra poo to pick up. Anyway, they're our horses. So just taking the clamps off of the drawer, there was a little crack in that, which I've glued down, and that's all sorted. I'll just probably have to sand it off a little bit, and then I'll sand off the drawer bottom, which is sitting next to it on the bench there, and pop that all back together. So I'm ready to replace the top of the meat safe. You'll remember that I got rid of the old piece. It was too thin and a bit, I don't know, a bit crap. So I'm replacing, and it was also a piece of masonite, the original piece. So I'm replacing it with a 7mm piece of plyboard. That's what I've decided to go with. And I'm just taking some measurements so that I get the cut right. I'm back over to the door now. So the wood putty is all dried, and I'm just giving it a nice sand so that it's ready to take. So the recess is ready to take the next bit, and of course I'll stain that as well. Nearly there. Home stretch now. Okay, what, pray tell, are those things? So they're the two butterfly hinges. I probably haven't, in retrospect, put the camera up close enough for you. Sorry. So they're covered in paint. I'm just going to put some paint stripper on those. Lovely. Now, if you didn't fast forward to the end, which I sometimes do myself, I'm now ready to show you my piece de resistance of the whole piece. So what I have done is I've taken the wire mesh out of the front door and I've replaced it with a beautiful piece of textured coloured glass. I've chosen dark green, hoping that that's actually going to be, you know, a beautiful match with the walnut, which it will be, but a beautiful match for many kitchens, assuming that's where it ends up. If it doesn't end up in my kitchen, which I'm highly tempted to find the room for it. So what I'm doing now is just, so I've built the recess for the green glass, but what I have to do now is frame it in so that that glass doesn't move, and I have to do it in a way where it's minimising any pressure on the glass so that it doesn't crack. So I want to absolutely have a low risk to that piece of glass. So my original plan was that I was going to remove the front mesh from the front door and replace that with that beautiful dark green glass. So instead, I'm switching out my mesh or my meat safe mesh for to the sides. So I've taken that masonite off of the two sides, and both of the two sides will be getting fresh meat safe mesh. And the reason for that is, well, because it is a meat safe, so I'm trying to keep it in keeping, but also because the having mesh on the two sides will also allow some lovely light to come through the two sides, which will give that green glass a chance to get natural light on it and really boast its beauty. So I've restored quite a few meat safes in my past. At least this is probably my fourth. And I have used traditional, authentic, extremely expensive meat safe mesh in the past, which I've purchased. The meat safe mesh is extremely expensive. It's about $50 for a piece of meat safe mesh that's about twice the size of a cutting board, a breadboard. So it's very, very expensive. So to cover this would cost several hundred dollars. And I'm not going to be able to get a return to cover that cost. So I've opted, which may receive some criticism on this occasion, to use stainless steel mesh from the hardware store, because the purpose is not to protect meat, it's to give enough light through the side panels to make the green glass glow. That's my point, that's my purpose. I should add here too that whilst I've covered the entire piece in walnut stain, um, off camera, not even off camera, but I think it just hasn't been obvious. Every surface area has also received hard wax as a protective layer, two coats of Feast and Watson's brown hard wax. You can't tell here because I've got it on fast speed, but I am being so crazy careful with screwing and drilling and using a hand screwdriver where I can. Um, I'm so scared of just having a little slip and cracking the glass. I don't do it. I've managed to, but I'm petrified. I'm going, even though it's on fast speed, I'm going really, really slow with my drilling. So what I failed to show you on camera was me spray painting those butterfly hinges, which I did yesterday. I had a visitor yesterday and I was unconsciously spray painting them while I was chatting to my friend and totally forgot about the camera. So the butterfly hinges, I decided to go with a black hinge um, and a black knob and a black turn button so that everything matches. So the hinges, so I've purchased the knobs and I've purchased the turn button, but the butterfly hinges, which I wanted to keep using, I primed them with primer, and then I've spray painted them with metallic spray paint, and then I've given them a little coat of varnish as well, hoping that that protects them beautifully. So off camera, so this drawer originally had a recessed part where the handle would have gone. So it must have had a recessed handle. It didn't come with the handle. And I was going to leave it and just cover it up with my new handle, but I wasn't happy with it. So I've ended up putting some just Bondo on the top rather than wood filler because it was a fairly big space that needed filling. So I've used Bondo and I'm just sanding that down now. And then I'll just give that another coat of walnut stain. I'm not happy. Even though the handle's going to cover this up, I'm still doing a little bit of colour blending. Not massively, I'm not doing it too fussy because the handle will cover it, but just giving it a bit of, making it blend in that just that little bit more, just in case anybody looks under the handle. Professional as I can be. So basically it is done. So the next clip will show you the final look, the after shot. I hope you like it. Do let me know what your opinion is. So it is a restored meat safe or with a twist. I'm calling it a lime twist or a twist of sapphire. I love it. What do you think? Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you very much. Please subscribe. Please like. Please give it a thumbs up. Please make a comment. I'd be grateful for any of it. Thank you.